Good afternoon, it's 4 o'clock. I am Miguel Machado with Solent Sport News. Slaven Bilic has been sacked as West Ham manager. Their 4-1 defeat to Liverpool this past weekend left them in the relegation zone. David Moyes is expected to succeed him. Bilic spoke as he left the training ground.
Of course, you are always hoping and you believe in yourself that you can turn it around and do it. Of course, otherwise I wouldn't be in this job and I wouldn't be on this level. That doesn't mean that I don't understand the move that the club had made.
Earlier, I spoke with BBC Sports journalist Phil McNulty and began by asking him if was it right to sack Bilic.
I think in the end it was, yes. I think it was inevitable after Saturday when they lost 4-1 at home to Liverpool. They, of course, gave him 2 games to save himself, if you like, a couple of weeks ago. He won one very dramatically against Tottenham in the League Cup, and then was only denied a victory by a very late equaliser against Crystal Palace. But clearly, the manner of the performance, the way in which Liverpool dominated West Ham, the reaction of the crowd and the whole atmosphere around the place, I think it just made today's decision inevitable.
Yeah, and these days people just sack the coaches all the time. And do you think it's just the manager's fault?
I don't think it's just the manager's fault. No, I think perhaps the buying policy at West Ham United has not been great over the last couple of seasons. And also, Bilic, I think, had a very good first season at Upton Park when he got them into Europe. That was their last season at Upton Park, and he's had to deal with the transitional period of the move into the old Olympic Stadium. And I think that was always going to be very difficult for West Ham to leave such an atmospheric stadium as Upton Park to go to this new home, which isn't a natural home for football. It's very cavernous. It's not a purpose-built football stadium. So they had to get used to that as players. The fans had to get used to it. And I think last season was very difficult for them, and maybe the hangover of that came into this season. But
David Moyes, do you think he's right for the job?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure he is right for the job. I think it's an interesting choice by West Ham United, and one that I don't think their fans are hugely pleased with at the moment. I think you have to look back at the David Moyes since he left Everton in 2013. He was sacked after less than a season at Manchester United, a job that really was too big for him. He then tried his luck abroad with Real Sociedad in La Liga. That didn't work out and he was sat there. Then, of course, he had that miserable season at Sunderland last year when they were relegated. They were bottom, I think, with only 24 points. He was regarded as a very negative persona who put them in a relegation fight. I think it was after the second game he was there. He is really going to have to be a lot more positive when he gets to West Ham.
Chris Lauder has more on the sacking.
You've got to be focused on the next game. You know, in management, it turns so quickly. You know, you've got to absolutely be focused on the next game and the next game. You can't take your foot off the pedal. And I'm afraid that if you do that, if you start to get relaxed or take things for granted, it's the worst game in the world for kicking you up the backside, this game.
In recent seasons, management has become one of the hardest things within football, with managers being sacked every week it seems. The pressure seems to be mounting among football managers. With Slaven Bilic, the latest manager to go from West Ham, and David Moyes now in the line of duty to precede him, this is what Slaven Bilic has had to say about his departure.
Not only my duty or my job, but it's also the way I want it to work or the way I want it to be. It is me who has to take that responsibility, and I'm taking it, facing the situation and facing the consequences.
We've been out on the streets listening to what people think of managers being sacked in the Premier League.
Not in every case. I think sometimes they don't get enough time to prove themselves, but if they make sudden mistakes, then yeah, they do get sacked, and I think that's fair.
I think if they deserve it, they should be sacked, because otherwise the team might be relegated to the lower league, so it's fair enough as things happen in football, and the business of the club is the priority.
With the pressure mounting up on Maurizio Pellegrino, we've been speaking to Adam Leach of the Daily Echo to see if he thinks he will become the next Premier League managerial casualty.
Well, the pressure's on. That's the first thing to say. There's no doubt about that. I think it's just the reality of the Premier League. When you've got a manager like Frank de Boer being sacked after 4 games, I mean, that just goes to show how crazy things are in the Premier League now. And I think Pellegrino will be as aware as anybody that the results have to get better, and they have to get better very, very quickly.
Football is not about argument. It's about emotion. It's difficult to talk about football when you lose. When you lose, you want to kill everybody, no? This is part of our life.
So with a tough run of games coming up for Southampton over the next few weeks and months, the pressure is bound to build on Manuel Pellegrino, but can he be the man to turn around?
Closer to home, and Saints were beaten at St Mary's by Burnley on Saturday. Sam Vokes scored the only goal 9 minutes from the end. His side moved to 7th in the Premier League. Southampton stay 13 points in the 13th position, and they will visit Liverpool next match. We went to the streets to find out what Southampton fans had to say about his coach.
I think he's got a limited time to get the players on board with his philosophy because he doesn't seem to have sorted it out yet, and the fans are starting to see that.
No, because he's got a good attacking style of playing. It just takes a while for the manager to integrate that into the team.
To golf, Hampshire's Justin Rose has won his second tournament in 2 weeks. He claimed the Turkish Airlines Open yesterday, just 8 days after winning in Shanghai. The Olympic champion has been struggling for form this year, but he is hoping his recent victories can spur him for a good 2018.
I have put the emphasis on winning more, and obviously I've come out of the gates, really good with that mindset. So my mind was already a little bit in 2018, thinking I wanted to have a multiple win season, and I've turned 17 into a multiple win season, so that's fantastic. But just continue to play well in the majors, and hopefully the rest takes care of itself.
In tennis, the British number 3 Naomi Brody lost in the first round of Thailand's Hua Hin Championship. The 27-year-old player was beaten 6-4 and 7-5 by Turkey's İpek Soylu. In rugby, Elliot Daly rejoins England's squad. The 25-year-old withdrew from last week's training camp in Portugal because of knee trouble. He is now recovered and ready to play for the national team next Saturday against Argentina in Twickenham. That's all from us now. I'll be back in an hour. Remember, you can keep up to date on our website, solentjournalism.co.uk.
Of course, you are always